Yeah, and that's why they won't let me work for them any longer. It was a really bad thing with the whole court case and everything, but it went all to crap in the end. So yeah, just not allowed to work there anymore.
Yeah, that sounds terrible, man.
Man, it was
honestly
horrific.
terrible.
Horrific. Yeah.
Yeah. Damn.
Okay, who have we got in chat this week then? We've got Melodet here, subscribing for 19 months. Thank you very much for that. Straight Classy here for his 10-month sub as well. Straight Classy, thank you. Repping the JO2 in chat. I saw that earlier. Thank you, dude.
Very nice. Very nice.
Weird jump at that, Jay. What? I don't know. I like that little Hey logo thing that A1A has posted up. That's cool. I don't know what that is, but I like it. We've also got Mike Clicks here, subscribed for 4 months as well. UPass2, 10 months. 10 months, dude. Wow. Wow. That's a pretty long time.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much, guys.
Skewed is on 9 months, so he's not too far behind as well. DMC's here as well, 7-month streak.
Wow.
Repping the Twitch squad. Thank you, dude.
That's a lot of subs in the last, 2 minutes. That's crazy.
Yeah, we've not even gone live, though. This is just the pre-show, and we're already getting subs. It's crazy.
Heck yeah. Fantastic. You guys are awesome.
Junkie Render says Q versus Iron 165. I've built both. I'm going to go say the Iron 165 would be my pick.
Iron 165 is a very, very attractive keyboard.
Well, the issue with the Q for me is the fact that the plate is visible for three. It's sandwiched on 3 sides.
Yeah.
It's a little bit inconsistent in terms of typing feel, I found, but I can see why people like it. I'm not taking anything away from the board, but that's just why my preference goes to the Iron.
Yeah, definitely.
Eskimojo as well. Yeah, 8 months.
Big thumbs up. Thank you.
Yeah.
2 thumbs up. All right.
It's looking good.
Looking good.
I think are they talking about the new stabs here? Is that what they're talking about? Came at a great time with all the cherry issues. Sounds like talking about new
I can't wait to try some. I am excited.
Yeah, well, Jason did say he was going to send us some, so we've got ones from Jason coming. I've got some from Taobao coming, which I've apparently shipped today, so that should be happening soon. And then I'll get some from the EU vendor as well. So it's a race to see who gets them to us first.
I'm gonna laugh when they all arrive at the same time.
Yeah, they literally all arrive on the same day, and I've just got a mail call. I've just got, there you go, guys. I've got 65 sets of these new stabilizers, these GMK potentially replacement stabilizers.
It'd be hilarious. Fantastic.
Yeah, so on Superbuy, they're showing us being shipped from the Taobao store to Superbuy at the minute 10 strong. Yeah, so I still have to ship to me, but yeah, they're showing us being shipped.
Very nice. So if you guys are curious what's going on, maybe you're new here, this is a little bit of a pre-show that we like to do, a start early, just to make sure everything is going A-OK, which so far it is. So now we're just going to wait for a little bit longer, until about 6, so we can officially start the show.
Yeah.
Just in case we have any last-minute stragglers, which we always do.
Yeah, I think we're all curious on the C3 stabs case. So as soon as we get hold of some, I'll do. I mean, stabs are such an important topic at the minute in the community. So the day they come in, I will do an impromptu stream and get someone in a hot swap build so we can test them out quite quickly and see what they compare and sound like. So yeah. Just finished Death Stranding in time to watch Top. I haven't even started that yet.
I hear it's pretty good.
Yeah, well, I've got it for the PS4, but I haven't played it yet. So yeah.
Nice.
You should refresh all your pages right now in case there are any changes at Top Clan. Yeah, alright, that's a good idea.
Is there a way to do it without going one at a time? Can you mass refresh all of your tabs?
What browser are you in?
Chrome.
I don't know in Chrome. I know you can in Safari, but I'm not in Safari either. I'm in Chrome right now, so I'm just refreshing all of them.
I've never thought about a mass refresh before, but
mass refresh. I think there is, but I don't know how to do it. Someone in chat will know. Someone in chat always knows the answer to everything. So
I don't know. I opened the links not that long ago. It was only 20 or 25 minutes ago. So I'm hoping nothing got updated.
Yeah, I've done them. Yeah.
Jay Chef did donate 500 pre-show bits. Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
Nice. Thank you, J-Chef. Thank you, dude. Close the browser, then use history to open them all again. Okay, yeah, that's not a bad way of doing it. Yeah.
I'm
sure there's a refresh all. I'm sure there is a refresh all.
There's got to be.
I'm almost
right?
positive. There has to be a way. Reload all tabs using keyboard shortcut Alt, Shift, and R. There you go.
Alt, Shift, and R, huh?
That's what it says. That's what Google tells me. And to be fair, they do make Google Chrome, so I'd like to think they know how their own software works.
Yeah, that didn't do anything for me.
Yeah, it didn't do anything for me either.
Oh well.
Shift selects the tabs and then hit Control and R. The Shift? No, that doesn't do anything for me.
I'm not gonna worry about this right now.
Yeah, it's done. It's done. It's done. Easiest way is to select all the tabs.
Okay. I'm afraid that people in chat are trying to give us commands to do something like that isn't what we're trying to do. So
okay. No, I've worked it out. You can.
Oh, you got it. Okay.
Yeah. So if you hold down Shift, you can highlight multiple tabs, and then you can just refresh those.
Oh, okay.
So you see, it is faster than going onto each one and hitting refresh, but it's not much faster. It's not just to hit one button and refresh everything.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was an adventure. Very, very exciting.
Yeah, we get there in the end.
Yeah,
Junkie Render says, I'm hoping to get the Sennheiser HD6XX and the Monolith Liquid Spark amp. Nice. That's be a really good setup, dude. Yeah, nice. CLD SKT subscribed for 4 months, currently on a 1 month streak. Thank you very much, dude. We appreciate all of our subs. Thank you, dude.
Heck yes. I wouldn't steer you wrong on stream. I know. I'm always weary of Twitch chat, though. Always weary of Twitch chat. You never know. Yeah, the trolls.
Falling for the Alt F4 chat. Not realizing because they're trying to do something. And so it says, "Oh, try Alt F4," and they've done it and it shuts something out. That must have happened to some poor streamer at some point.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. Yeah. It probably happens. That kind of stuff probably happens all the time on stream, honestly.
Yeah, it probably does. You're probably right.
Delete system 32. All right, let me try real quick. Here we go.
So today, guys, we've lost Brian, and we're carrying the show without him.
Fantastic. All right, maybe we should actually start the show, I suppose.
Yeah,
people would probably be okay with that, I imagine. All right, guys.
Yeah, maybe.
Let's get into it in just a moment. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this week's episode of Top Clack. I am one of your hosts, Quakeums, joined as usual by my amazing, lovely, adorable co-host, Jay. That's right. You heard me.
Whoa, what?
Maybe I'm going to be nice today for once. I don't know. We'll see.
Wow.
Anyways.
Nice. Can someone clip that, please? Can someone clip that?
I've already deleted it. It's fine. So we're going to talk about keyboards today, as usual. We have a little bit of the news doc today. It's nothing too crazy, thankfully, so it shouldn't be too outrageously long of a show, because Jay has other things he needs to get done. So
I do.
Anyways, How are you doing today?
I'm good, thanks. I'm tired, but I'm doing all right. Yeah, really good. Looking forward to a shorter show, but looking forward to being able to maybe deep dive into a couple of the topics a little bit better than we sometimes have to skip over things. Lots to talk about in announcements today as well. So we've got quite a few things we want to cover there too. But should we jump into a bit of mail call, Brian? Have you had anything in this week?
No. Sadly, I have nothing. But on Saturday, I will be actually getting the marshmallow switches in. So enough for a full build, presumably.
Oh, nice. Excellent.
So that's going to be really, really awesome. So I'm looking forward to that. But that's a future mail call at this point.
Yeah, future mail call incoming soon, inbound soon.
That's right. What about you?
I've had nothing major for me, at least. I have had something for someone else. So I asked if I could talk about it in mail call right now, and he hasn't responded. So I'm not going to talk about it, but it is going to be what's on the build stream on Sunday. So it is something that's coming. It's going to be on the build stream on Sunday. It's a secret, and it's a prototype, and I can't tell you any more than that because he's not replying to me. So that's something I've got, but I can't show it. But it's going to be on the stream on Sunday, and I'm really looking forward to it. It's at the side of me. It's really nice, and I'm yeah. I can't talk any more about it until I get either confirmation I can talk about it. If he replies at any point during the show, I'll talk about it then. Or if not, you'll just have to wait until Sunday, and I'll put up an announcement in text and announcements on the Discord whenever I can. And the only other thing I got through, which I haven't actually opened yet, I'm literally just opening it now while we talk, is I got my Rama knob through. So I have a lovely, shiny, bright brass knob now with an X on it. So X marks the spot of my knob. And this came through from UPass this week. So thank you very much for that. This was the Satisfaction 75. So I've got my nice sparkly knob, and now I've got my nice brass knob now. So I've got now two really nice knobs that I can use as we go for it. So I'm going to get that on the board and try it. I think it's somewhere behind me over here. You probably can't see it. So yes, there's that as well. And in fact, so the guy behind this is actually pinging me right now behind this other board as well. So I'm going to come back to it in a couple of minutes. He's posting some stuff. So if you're listening, dude, put up any information you want me to talk about, and I'll talk about it in a couple of minutes. We'll come back to mail call after we've gone to announcements. So a couple of announcements. Do you want to start us off with the Secret Santa news, Brian?
Yeah, so if you guys weren't aware, we are running a Secret Santa right now, and it is officially open. We opened it last week at the beginning of the show, and it is still going on. I believe it closes in 1 week on the 21st, so if you want to get in on some Secret Santa action, you definitely can. There is 2 versions. There is one for the US, and there's one for everywhere else, otherwise known as rest of the world. So make sure you join the appropriate one, and we'll get you sorted out, and it's going to be a good time. Lots of giving and or receiving. Hopefully both.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and so when that runs, guys, as Brian says, it shuts at the end of the show next week. Is when it will close. It will automatically draw your names out of a hat. It will pair you up with someone else. You've got then to ship your present to them by the 19th of December, and then on the show between Christmas and New Year, which I think is on the 26th of December, if I remember rightly, that's the day when we're going to actually open the presents live on stream. So whatever Brian and I receive, we will open up live on stream. We'll get you guys to do the same. We'll share some pictures in chat, and a good time will be had by all. So I'm really looking forward to that. And hopefully Santa will bring his big fat sack and empty it out for you, all over you.
Jesus.
What?
Nothing. We're moving right along here. Starstone did sub at tier 2 for 20 months. Thank you so much, my friend. And then Talisman Solutions donates 1,111 bits, his signature amount. Thank you so much, guys.
Wow. Thanks, guys. Thank you. Appreciate that. Okay, so the other announcements we've got as well. So I've talked about this a few times on stream. The JO1 charity boards, there's going to be 2 boards that are going to be raffled off for charity. The first one is going to be open to everyone to donate in chunks of $5. So for every $5 you enter, you're going to get a ticket, and you can have as many tickets as you want. And there's going to be a JO1 that is going to be given away to whoever's drawn at random out from that as well. That's going to be running on novel keys, and I now have a date for it as well. So Mike and I have been talking this week whilst on a cruise ship, whilst we've been struggling for Wi-Fi connection, and it's been terrible communication-wise, but we got there in the end. And that's going to launch during the show next week. So we're actually going to launch the charity raffle during the show next week. It's going to go live on Novel Keys. You'll be able to buy tickets for $5. It's going to all go to proceeds. 100% of the proceeds are going to go to the hospice that looked after my mum in her final days early on this year. And I'm really hoping that we can do a big thing and generate a lot of revenue for them and raise some good money for them as well. There will be a second JO1 charity raffle, which is going to be a high bid raffle, but that's going to run the first week in January, so that's a little bit way off. We'll talk about that on the show later on in a couple of weeks' time. But as I say, next week the $5 entry, buy as many tickets as you want, unlimited, raising money for Wheatfields Hospice in Leeds, a Sue Ryder charity, really, really good cause. They looked after my mum, they looked after me. They were fantastic. Can't speak highly enough of them. I want to raise a ton of money for them, so there's going to be a JO1 going on raffle next week for them. And as well as that, the other thing I'm going to do is every penny that gets donated, I'm going to match as well. So I will personally match from my own money whatever we raise too. So if we raise $2,000, I'll put $2,000 in, and hopefully we'll raise a lot of money for them. So I'm really looking forward to that. Do look out for it, and do support if you can.
That is amazing and a fantastic cause for sure.
Yeah.
Did you wanna tease this too?
Yeah, we can tease it.
I don't think we really teased it at all. Yeah, we didn't really tease it at all last week, but it was here.
Yeah.
We don't have to. We can still keep it a secret.
Okay. Well, let's keep it a secret and not say what it is, but just say there is new content coming soon. But I've been lazy this past week and I haven't done what I needed to do for it. But there is new content coming soon. You'll see it soon. Well, you'll hear it soon. Let's put it that way. You'll hear it soon.
Yes. Yeah. Consider yourselves teased. There you go.
It's gonna be quite hot. Let's put it that way.
Oh. Ooh. All right. Interesting. All right. So, quick shout out to Blue Note, who subbed with Twitch Prime for 14 months. Thank you so much, and Legolandia, who subs Tier 1 for 7 months on that streak. Very nice. Thank you so much. He's ditching us to watch a sports event. Sheesh.
Of all the things as well.
Of all the things.
159 subscribed for 12 months as well. Thank you very much for that, Josh. We appreciate that. Thank you very much, dude. And then the other thing I was just going to come back to before we carry on with the show is the build on Sunday is going to be a keyboard called the Doppelganger. Noah has said that I can talk about it a little bit. So it's a board that Noah's designed. He's got an interest check that's coming up for the board soon. I've got the prototype here right beside of me. I'm not going to show it now. I'm going to leave it till Sunday to show it. But yeah, it's called the Doppelganger, and it looks really interesting. Looks quite like a very interesting build. I'm really excited to do it. We'll put it up on the J score as well. Oh, we've got a new command as well, guys. If you do !J score in chat, if I've spelled it right. No, I haven't spelled it right. You can now get the J score up there as well. So hopefully in a couple of weeks when we've done more build streams, we'll see more scores on there and it'll be a bit more fun. And this will be the second board that goes on there. So check it out on Sunday. The Doppelganger from Noah.
Yep. And without further ado, let's jump right into our news doc today.
Okay, so where are we starting, Brian? What are we looking at first?
All right, so we're going to take a look at a couple keyboards first here. This starting one is the interest check for the F&T Minsky. I think that's how it's pronounced. I could be entirely wrong because, you know, language is hard. But regardless, this is the new F&T design, and this is kind of modeled after this old Ampex computer here, which is kind of interesting. There's not a whole lot of info on it, but we do have a couple quick renders here. This one actually tells us quite a bit about the keyboard. I'm going to run you down just a few specs, though. So there is going to be a 4-degree typing angle. You're going to have your choice between aluminum or polycarbonate case, at least for the outer shell, I presume. There's going to be a QMK PCB, and there's going to be a few different layout options, including a half plate, which is pretty interesting. So this is the same kind of design language that the studio has brought you before with the 1916 and the Mars 6.5 and other keyboards like that. So pretty interesting design here. I like the idea of always porting kind of retro stuff over to the more modern age. That's always been something I've been a really big fan of. So I kind of like how this is going on here. So it's basically kind of like a 60% option here with a numpad on the right, and you have a little bit of a macro column here on the left. Well, 2 macro columns, I suppose. But pretty interesting stuff. It is going to come with a variety of layout options, though. So as you can see this in this picture here. There's an HHKB version here with the big blockers, and then over on this one, this is your normal layout here down at the bottom. Then you have a win keyless option over here, and this is what I presume is the polycarbonate version. So pretty interesting design. What do you think about this?
A couple of things that jump out at me. So I know we talked about this briefly before the show. This really reminds me of the modern Dasher Dancer board. I couldn't work out if Sylvester was attributed to that board historically or not, but this really reminds me of that kind of design language and how the board's put together. I think it looks great. I'm all for vintage boards. You guys know that I like my vintage stuff in terms of keycaps and switches and all that kind of stuff as well. Even though I don't speak about it as much on TC as I do in Discord servers, it is quite a big part of the hobby for me. So it's really good to see kind of like the older boards getting a modern twist and being brought up into the modern kind of era. In terms of layouts, it looks great. I think the multiple options, I love a good macro column. Everyone who's seen the JO1 knows that I love a good macro column on the left-hand side. I think that's a great addition to any board. Numpad, always useful for those power users in offices and that kind of stuff as well. The LEDs, really reminiscent of the old school boards as well. I think that looks great. And I like the fact that it's got the bezel with the separated color for the top piece as well. I think that looks really, really nice. I'd like to see the board a bit closer up. I think a lot of these renders are quite far away, so it's not, you can't make out too many of the details. So it'd be nice to get some close-up renders. In terms of the colorways, I think the yellow and black one looks stunning, and I don't usually like those kind of colors, but I think that one looks really good. I think there's a few different. I'm not so hot on the pink. I think it's a bit brighter the pink, but the yellow and black one looks great. Yeah. In fact, it actually really reminds me of the International Kits logo and the GMK keycap that they've done recently. I think that's quite good on that.
Yeah. Actually, you're totally right.
I wonder if that was the inspiration.
Yeah, I like this design a lot because it lets you play around with colors a lot, and or materials here in this case, since you can have a polycarbonate version. But it's kind of nice just to be able to coordinate something like that. I think you can really make a lot of key sets pop that way if you choose the right color scheme.
Absolutely, yeah. The other thing that I really like about this interest check as well is it's not just the historic pictures of the boards that inspired, and it's not just renders of the board, but they've actually got some proper technical design drawing documents in here as well. So I do a lot with these at work and stuff. This is something that I see quite often in my professional life, and it's nice to see that someone's actually taken that and done these here as well. These are quite interesting. They probably tell you a fair bit about the board as well, and it's nice to see that all laid out. One thing I do notice on the layouts is it supports ANSI, ISO, mixtures thereof, depending if you want wing keyless or whatever else you want to do as well. The challenge I see with that is the half plate only supports ANSI, so you are limited if you do buy that plate, and that might be a conscious choice on the behalf of the designers, but that's certainly something to consider. And as well, the half plate on this, usually a half plate still covers the Numro, and it's just the alphas that are PCB mounted. The Numros are also part of the missing part of the plate, the half of the plate that's not here on this particular design as well. So that's two slight deviations from the standard that we see here, but just worthwhile calling those out. But otherwise, it looks great. I think it looks fantastic. I'd like to see one of these have a prototype and see what it looks like when it's built up.
Yeah, the estimated starting price is going to be around $320 USD, so not too bad as far as customs go. That could be pretty good value there. We'll have to wait and see. Hopefully they get some more renders up and maybe a prototype in the near future.
Yeah, absolutely. I do want to see a prototype for this because I think it's got a lot of potential and it could do quite well.
Yep, certainly. All right, moving on. We have an interest check for a 65% keyboard called the Conone. Do you think it's Conone or Conone?
I think it's Conone.
Conone? Okay.
Yeah, because it's Dutch. I think that's how they pronounce it. Okay. But I am completely open to being corrected on that if I'm wrong, and I hope I'm not. But you never know.
We're just scrubs that barely know English, so you don't fault us for our terrible pronunciation here. So, anyways, yeah, I'm just gonna call it the Conone. I guess is gonna be the easiest way.
Yeah.
So
I think that's about it. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a pretty interesting 65% keyboard design, and I'm gonna run you through just a couple specs, and then we're gonna talk about how we feel about it. So it's going to be a two-part case here. It's kind of hard to see in this picture, but it is supposed to be a two-part case that's held together via a magnet system, which I thought was a pretty interesting touch. I've always wanted to see more magnets in keyboards, and this is definitely showing that here. There's also going to be a plate that I'm not entirely sure how it mounts, and I tried for a while to figure it out. I can't tell if it's supposed to be top mount or if it's sandwiched together somehow in some kind of magnet system, and these holes are just for tabs.
It's a mixture of sandwich and top from speaking to Salvun about this the other day from what he mentioned. Yeah.
Interesting. So there is going to be a couple of different plate options, though. You're going to have aluminum, acrylic, copper, and brass. Kind of interesting they've chosen to do copper and brass. Usually it's just one or the other since they are fairly similar. It's going to use a custom PCB and daughter board. The bottom, as you can see here, is going to have these kind of long rubber strips. I like seeing that a lot. That is so much better than bump-ons, in my opinion, as we've learned from keyboards like the M65. And like Jay had just mentioned, it is going to be manufactured by Salvun, which is pretty cool because he's been doing a lot of great work and he seems like a nice guy, and I'm glad more people are going to him for keyboard needs.
Yeah, so yeah, I completely agree with Salvun. His attention to detail and quality is absolutely astounding for what is, for what started out as a garage-based enterprise, and he's really ramped up his production quality. He's got all new machines in. I was having a really good talk with him the other day about how much capacity he had and how many boards he could deliver, and his plans seem to put him on a trajectory where he'll be able to deliver more boards in a short period of time than even some of the big Chinese manufacturers can do. So he's really wanting to make this a business proposition for himself as well. In terms of the keyboard itself, I think that the design is really interesting. I'll be honest, the first time I saw this, I disliked it. I looked at it, I glanced at it, I disliked it. The couple of things that stood out to me were the shapes of the sides are all angled, but if you look at some of the renders that kind of give you a top-down view, you can see that the actual bezel that runs along the side before the slope starts, it's thinner at the top of the board near the number row, and it gets fatter as it comes down. It's kind of like a triangle shape. It's like an isosceles triangle, and that does mean that the wedge gets shallower as it comes down. So you've actually got a bezel that starts off maybe a couple of millimeters and goes down to nearly almost a centimeter wide at the bottom, probably something like 8 millimeters. There's not very many pictures that show that off, but there is one really good top-down picture that shows it off after the two white ones, Brian. Yeah, so you can see that it gets fatter as it goes down. So that was really interesting for me, and I didn't like it the first time I looked at it. The more I look at it, the more I like it, and I actually kind of low-key want one of these now because I think it looks great the more I look at it. I think Max Surfy's renders really help with that selling it. I just think it looks really, really good. It does look like it's quite sharp. It does look like it's quite steep in terms of the front angle. It might be a little bit uncomfortable to type on, but in terms of looks and aesthetics, I think it really hits the mark, and I'd really like to try one out from that perspective. The mag-mounted system, again, you know, people who have seen my boards, I love magnets just because, like the pen rails, there's no reason for me to have them magnetic, but because I wanted to put magnets in a board, I did. No real rhyme or reason for it. So to have this board actually held together magnetically is really interesting as well. I will be interested to see how strong those are and how many mag points they've got around the board to hold it together properly, because I'd like to feel like if you lifted this up just by the top piece, it'd keep the bottom piece with it, and you'd have to kind of pull it apart and put a bit of pressure behind it to actually get it to split. From playing around with magnets and quite heavy pieces of aluminium, that you'd probably need quite a lot of magnetism to be able to do that. And I would like to think that the magnets will come pre-mounted in the board as well and won't be left to the user, because it's very easy to put the magnets in the wrong way around, as a couple of my JO1 purchasers found out. So they repelled each other, not so they attracted each other. So I would like to think that they'd come pre-manufactured and pre-installed. Other than that, agree with Brian on the feet. I think it looks great. The base of this looks just as good as the top, and I think the angles on the base are really, really nice. Easy to pick up. Looks great. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a little worried about how you would actually take this apart once it's together, because those angles are very sharp. I don't really see any place to comfortably grip to actually pull the top away from the bottom here. So I wonder if there's some kind of like weird system here that I might just not be seeing.
You might just have to slide it to the side a little bit and then prise it off or something like that. Don't know.
Yeah,
Don't know.
Could be kind of interesting. The design is very, very polarizing. I think it's very much a love it or hate it sort of affair. I'm not very sold on it, as you are, unfortunately. But I appreciate the try anyways, just because it is so out there. I love seeing keyboards that don't look like any other keyboard, and so I greatly appreciate that and an innovation for what it is. It kind of reminds me of like a Fiel on steroids. Like, if the Fiel was like smashed a little bit and then like the angles just kind of sharply came out, I feel like it kind of shares that look a little bit. But yeah, I'm interested to see this. The magnet system really makes me curious. So
the only other thing I would say is this board is really, really nice from a symmetrical point of view. From the case design, everything is symmetrical, including the logo as well. It's not a logo that's unsymmetrical. However, the layout's at 65%. For me personally, I think this would look better as a 60 or a 75%, depending on which way you want it to go with it. The reason I'd say with a 60, because then you could have a really nice 7U bottom row, keep it all nice and straight and tidy, keep it all looking good, and I just think would lend itself to those angles a little bit better. That's just the designer we're looking at it. But the rest of the board looks really nice. I do like the angle, and the more I look at the design, the more I like it.
Yeah, I completely agree with you on the 60% thing. I think that would look so much nicer. 65%, sure, it's functional, but man, I don't think it looks that good, particularly without blockers or something to kind of give a little bit more character. It looks a little too messy to me personally.
For sure. The only other bit of feedback, and I don't know if the designers watch this or not, the only other slight thing I would change is the USB port position. So it's on a daughter board. They mentioned that in the interest check. The position where it's at the minute is quite high up towards the middle of the board. So it's just underneath that seam, to be honest. And that might be where you pull it apart, actually, Brian. That might be where you get the leverage to pull the two parts apart. I'm not sure. But for me, I think on a board like this, you could actually get that USB port lower and closer to the desk. So there's been some really good examples of that quite recently with Dixie's board, the Bower, that got really low to the desk, and I think that does generally lead to a nicer design, and it looks slightly nicer the lower down you can get the USB port. And that's one of the beauties and reasons why you would use a daughter board, so you can move that USB port around and have it in a much lower position and have your cable come straight out of the back instead of at the same angle of whatever the PCB is as well.
Yep. So this is going to have a pretty reasonable 90 unit cap, which I don't think is too terribly bad. It's a decent amount. And they do expect prototypes to be finished within the next few weeks. So hopefully we can check one of these out.
Yeah, I've already hinted to Salvun that I would love to see one and love to try one out and love to have a play with one. So he's aware. We'll see what that leads to.
And now we just keep our fingers crossed. We'll be good. We'll be good.
Yeah, this is one of those boards that's going to go one of two ways. Either it's going to be really, really good, or it might not quite hit the mark. One of the things that really does worry me from a QC perspective, of just knowing how hard it is for straight, neat edges like that, to, especially when it's two parts of a board that press together, to just stay that crisp and even. It's very easy on aluminium for those to bend and get slight nicks and knocks in. It does worry me slightly when that's going to be such a highly visible part of the board, and especially when it's angled and pointed out away from it. That's quite, it's easy to damage in that kind of respect. So I'd like to think that the QC is going to have to be quite high on it, but I trust Salvun to do that job. It's very different if you've got a right angled edge for a board and you can round it off slightly, or you have a seam or whatever. When it's something like this that's pointed, it's almost like a knife edge. It's very, very much a different ball game in terms of damaging that metal.
Yeah, so expected price here is about 400 euros, which is like 420, 430, 440 US dollars. I think it's pretty close to 1-to-1. So definitely not the cheapest board in the world, but I presume that would come with the full kit of the case, a plate, a PCB, the daughter board, etc. Your mounting hardware and stuff. So with that in mind, the price seems fine, just not amazing. But we'll have to wait and see. Next up is a board that I actually like quite a bit. So this is the interest check for the LittleFoot LX, which stands for Luxury Edition. And this is a very, very, very unique keyboard where you can see the logo, or not the logo, but the layout here. I believe this is just a 3D printed prototype. But it's effectively a 4x10 ortholinear board with a little bit of an HHKB-esque bottom row where you can have a couple split space bars here and then a couple 1.5 U caps. So pretty interesting. It is going to be a tray mount case. And a couple of the specs here. About a 4-degree typing angle. There's going to be a PCB, a pretty interesting PCB actually, with Kale hot swap sockets, USB-C, QMK, and 2 SMD RGB indicators. And the reason I say that's interesting, if we scroll down here, we take a look at this PCB, we can see that the indicators for the RGB LEDs are actually right here at the top. This is the top of the PCB in relation to the keyboard, and it is a tray mount case. So if you look here, the LEDs are actually going to be facing upward right here, which seems like a really odd place to put the LEDs, because they're not really going to get used for anything. It's not going to be a very elegant design, and it kind of bothers me a lot that the LEDs are placed there. And the case, it kind of just feels like an afterthought, because it's just going to shine up from the PCB. It's not going to actually shine anywhere through the case at all. So I thought that was kind of an interesting decision. But regardless, I do think that the case itself looks pretty good. Yeah, it's also going to be available in aluminum or polycarbonate. So what do you think about this one?
I think this is, in a word, fun. And I know we talked about this one before. It's dead cute, it's dead fun, it's dead sweet. It's a great little travel board, stuff like that. But I'll be honest, the only reason I want one of these, and I would make a slight tweak to the layout to accommodate this is just the perfect artisan holder for me. Like, it's functional, could use it as a macro pad, have all of those macros on there for when we're streaming, all of that kind of stuff, you know, plate mount it or whatever, hot swap, great, put different switches in it. But I could put a ton of artisans on there, and I could just use it as an artisan macro pad instead of my Ocelot, which I'm running out of key codes on because I need more functionality out of it. So it would work great for that for me, but it would need the bottom row to be all 1U, and that's not available on it. So Royal, if you're watching, please make it all 1U as a bottom row option on this PCB, because I'd love it. I don't think you can from the hot
probably,
sadly.
Probably not. Interestingly enough, you do have a couple small options. I was trying to find them. Here they are. For the layout, so you can actually do full 2U backspace in the top right corner here, which would be very odd, and I don't know why you would do that with this kind of board, but I think it's interesting that they have the option. As well as the bottom row, you can swap out the very functional 4-key bottom row with a less functional 1-key bottom row in the form of a 7U spacebar, which is just, like, ridiculous, and I don't think anyone should do that. But, so, the reason I like this keyboard so much is, since I've gotten into this community, and I know this is going to sound very weird, but since I've gotten into this community, I've been on this kind of ever-long search of trying to find a keyboard I can use with one hand. Because I really like the idea of just being able to do all of my typing with my left hand without having to take my right hand off my mouse. And I feel like this is a huge step in that particular direction because of this particular layout. I think it has a decent amount of functionality, and it also looks really good while doing it in a pretty nice high-profile case with this brass badge at the back. And
yeah, I kind of like the badge. It looks good. I do like the badge.
It's fun, like you mentioned. It's fun, it's cute, and it's also fairly affordable. So a kit is actually only going to run you about $150 or less, and that's going to actually include the case, the plate, and the PCB. So not terribly expensive of a keyboard kit. However, there are going to be a pretty limited amount of units. He estimates only 20 to 30. So pretty darn small run there, but I'm hoping to pick one of these up. The kit's also going to come with all the mounting hardware you need, including Torx fasteners. So we're going to see Torx be used here, which is always cool.
Should be. You always Torx. I use Torx for everything I can do. Always good to see that. Yeah, absolutely. Just one or two other things I want to talk about. Firstly, I disagree on the spacebar. If I was going to buy this and build this and I couldn't have 1U bottom row, I would absolutely put that 7U spacebar in there. That it goes without saying. 10 Strong was saying it as well in chat. I saw him mention it. I would absolutely go with the full spacebar because why not? Just why not? The second thing I wanted to talk about is the layout. So one of the things that the Royal's done is he's tried to come up with the perfect key map for this, and there's something that's really interesting. So if you just scroll to the key map picture, Brian, you're probably already there. Yep. So there's a couple of really interesting things on this, and I know we've all seen that QMK's got a ton of different features for this kind of stuff, and you can always do different things with it. You can have it do macros, and you can have it do all kinds of really snazzy, fancy features. What they've done here is they've actually made it so that the keys on the left-hand side become your modifiers if you hold 2 down at the same time. So if you hold down A and S together, for example, that becomes your left control. If you hold down Q and W together, that becomes your tab. If you hold down the 1 and 2 together, that becomes a skate. So you've got all of these different features and functionality, and you've got tap and hold on the right-hand side. So you've got multiple different combinations of keys to give yourself layers. Now, we've all seen this done before, but we've never seen this actually laid out in the interest track as a way to teach people how to use the board. And I just think that's really nice and smartly done. And there's all sorts of different controls in there that's been really thought of for how to get the most out of this board. And knowing that the Royal's really active in the 40% Discord, I'm not surprised because these guys love all this kind of stuff. That Discord scares me sometimes because it's all about memes and wacky stuff and things like that. But they're so nice when you go in there, you drop in, and they're always really friendly and talk to you and tell you about all the different things that are going on and stuff. It's always just a really nice community. So yeah, I really like the way that this whole layering system's been thought about and it's been designed and implemented. And of course, you can tweak this to your own leisure, but the fact that there's thoughts gone in there, if you want to know how to use it and you want a good starting point, this is a really good way of doing it. You know, corded keys are a great idea, I think.
Yeah, this is totally brilliant, and I'm really excited for this. I'm definitely gonna be trying to pick one up on my quest for trying to find the best one-handed keyboard. So very much looking forward to this one. Hopefully I can get in those very limited units.
Absolutely, yeah, I quite like one as well. Polycarb, I think.
Polycarb? I'm not.
Yeah,
I think I'd have to go with the aluminum on this one.
Yeah, artisan holder though. Polycarb. Yeah, I don't know. Polycarb just feels
tough.
right for me.
It's tough. Yeah. I don't know. Hopefully he gets the real prototype soon, the full prototype, not a 3D printed one, and we can I don't know, maybe get some more pictures of that. I'm very interested in this.
It is possibly contender for the cutest keyboard of the year. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe
what's
that's a prize we should give it.
What's it running against?
What else has been cute? TMO.
TMO. Equinox. Equinox is pretty cute.
Yeah, Equinox is pretty cute. Yeah, there's probably been some other. Romac was really cute as well. I'm not sure if that was late last year or early this year. Yeah, there's been some other cute boards, but yeah, I really like this. I think it's really cute. Yeah.
Yep, definitely. All right, so we'll hit back on this once the group buy actually goes live. Next up, we have an interest check for the Godspeed 75, the Speedster themed 75%. I'm actually not sure what the source material is on this. I should have looked it up beforehand. But
yeah, sorry.
Do you know?
No.
Someone in chat will tell us. It's fine. So
yeah, chat knows everything. Right?
Chat knows everything. That's just how it goes. I'm trying to find the album here.
Should we go through some specs first on this one then? So the case angle is 5 degrees. The default plate material is brass, slightly unusual because we're seeing a lot of transition away from brass as a material in the community these days. But there will be additional plate options of polycarbonate, carbon fiber, and POM. The mounting style is simple top mount, a standard that we've seen a number of times across the years. The PCB is a custom Godspeed 75 PCB designed by Blind Assassin. Usually that means that it's going to be QMK compatible and have all of those good features that we're used to as well. Approximately 5.3 pounds for the alu and 3.12 pounds for the polycarbonate. And this is looking like it's already going to go to group buy once the intro check's finished with some feedback, and it's going to run through the Key company. In terms of colorways, there's 4 different options that have been talked about here. There's the Godspeed edition, which is a gold, themed after the anti-hero's gold and white suit. It says, not quite sure I know the background material for it, but a gold and white option where it's very much the brass logo on the base and a white board. There's also the Zoom edition, which gives you a black board with lightning blue accents, which is quite interesting. There's a Velocity edition, which gives you a really, well, to be honest, I think this is a nice colorway, but we'll get on to personal thoughts later on, which gives you a polycarbonate case with kind of like a greyish off-tone accent piece for the plate and other parts. And then there's the Death of Speed edition, which is the black and gold variation of the white and gold that we saw earlier on as well. So there's all those different color combinations there as well for the Godspeed 75.
Yep, absolutely. So, I mean, playing the bad guy I usually try to play, the keyboard itself doesn't really feel very interesting to me. It feels a little boring, and it could just be the design language. If you take a look at the picture here, there's not a ton of pictures, by the way, which is kind of unfortunate. But if you take a look at this picture here, side angle, there's really nothing going on. The back angle, there's really not a whole lot going on either. It feels like there's not really a whole lot of design. It feels like it's nice. It's just a very simple, kind of boring design to me.
And it's interesting you mentioned the back of the case as well, because one of the things it does mention is that it's got a USB hub, but it doesn't show it in any of the renders where the USB hub's located or how that might look or feel or how that's integrated into the board. So that is missing at the moment from here as well. So that was one of the things I was going to talk about at the end. In terms of the board itself, personally, I don't like the logo. I don't get the source material, so maybe that's part of the problem. I'm guessing it's something like the Flash related, I guess. Maybe, I don't know. Feels like that might be where it's based on. Could be wrong. But yeah, I'm not quite sure on the logo. The board does seem very simplistic, which isn't always a bad thing. Usually, most boards that seem simplistic from the sides and the front tend to have something interesting in terms of the base, the weight, the back of the board, that kind of stuff. And for this board, it might be that that's the USB hub when that's shown in the renders, but it's not visible at the moment. The other thing I'd kind of guess is that the blue and the gold, they look like they're going to be PVD coatings, which PVD coatings tend to be quite hard to QC as well. So it's interesting they've gone with that rather than anodized aluminum for the plates. So interesting to see how that will turn up in the group buy as well.
Yeah, I disagree with you about the weight. I actually like the weight quite a bit. I think the weight design is probably the best part of the keyboard entirely. It's the strongest portion. As far as the rest of the design, it's a little too boring for me. I feel like when you're trying to design a keyboard these days, it really needs to have something that no other keyboard really has to really stand out, because there's so many people designing and releasing keyboards now. You got to have a little bit more individuality, I think, and this is just fine. It's just fine. As far as the colorways go, I actually like the color pairings quite a bit. I know we were talking a little bit about before the show. The white and gold, I feel, is fine, maybe a little boring. The black and gold, kind of the same. I think the Velocity edition, the polycarbonate with that kind of off silver, black nickel, light black nickel, I guess, PVD on that or whatever it is, I think that looks pretty darn good. This is my favorite option out of all of them.
Same, I'd agree. Yeah.
Yeah, I do actually like the zoom quite a bit, and I know you weren't a really big fan of it when we were talking before the stream, but
no, I really dislike that colorway, but I see why people would like it.
I like that blue. I think it goes pretty well with the black, but it's okay. We can disagree for now.
Colors are just personal preference at the end of the day.
Oh yeah,
anyway,
yeah, absolutely.
You know, people should never read into it if I dislike a color or you like a color or anything. Like
yeah,
that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's definitely one thing. Just a couple of other things in terms of the design as well. Looking at the board a little bit more detail, it's 75%. It's quite a wide board, but it's only got 4 screw points. It looks like on all of the renders. It's got nothing in the middle. That might slightly worry me about tolerances and pulling away on the seams, especially on the polycarbonate one if it's quite hefty. And just in terms of the layout, I think we've seen a lot more innovation in terms of how a 75% F-row can look now. This just gives us the standards, 1U to 1U kind of F-row to num-row, and that's probably a way that we're transitioning away from as a community. We seem to be moving more like the Wraith and a couple of other boards that we've seen recently that have got a really nice, evenly staggered top row that's got blockers in there that makes it so it's not the same as the num-row.
Yeah, so I guess just to sum up, it just doesn't really hit the mark for me, but I'd be interested to see maybe some changes happen, maybe give it a little bit more character. It just seems fine, and it's just, to me, that's not good enough these days.
Yeah, I think for me the big thing is where and what does this USB hub look like, and how
we got to see pictures of the back, but you got to give us a reason to want to buy this over other 75% options, because there have been several pretty decent ones in the recent past. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Maybe people will love this. This thread is actually the top post on Mech Market right now for the week. So people obviously like it. 95% upvoted, 193 points on this already. So people liking it, but for me, it's just a little too simple for the moment. All right.
Yep.
Moving away from simplicity and onto something that's a little bit more out there, the group buy for the Zeki 1800 Mini is now open, and this is a pretty interesting topic that we covered a while back when it was in the interest check phase, of course, but now it's actually moving over to the group buy phase, and this is a very interesting 1800 style layout that's kind of been I don't know, shrunk down, smashed a little bit. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the what was the one that you checked out not too long ago that was kind of like a mini 1800? The Rain?
The Rain. Yeah, the Rain. It was like 40% inspired mini 1800, which I think we actually concluded was technically a 65%, but an alternative layout because of the number of keys on there. And I know we hate to talk about percentage on boards, but yes. I think technically these are 65% boards. They're just non-standard 65% boards. And just before we get into the board as well, one thing I do notice is he's actually got the same macro pad as me, or one of the macro pads I have. He's actually got the same one in the top corner of this in red, and I've got mine in green. But that's an aside. I've just noticed that.
Sheesh. All right. So, yeah, pretty interesting layout here. I like the way this board looks. It looks fun. It looks creative. I think there's a lot of good things going for it. But the problem I have with it, and you kind of alluded to this when you basically called it a 65%, is that why not just have a larger board that has the same amount of keys here? I feel like the whole point of getting a 40% or something akin to a 40% is because you want that portability. You want that mobility. You want multiple layers of functionality. And here it just feels a little weak, because you could have all the same keys on a slightly bigger board, a board that is probably physically the same size anyways. Why would you want this over something like that?
Yeah, it's a good challenge. I think, especially with the thickness of the bezels on this, if you had a normal thin bezeled 65%, it's probably going to take up a very similar footprint. So it is interesting from that perspective. In terms of the board itself, though, I do think it's quite interesting, the design. The top, it doesn't look spectacular from the top. It looks fairly standard. A couple of interesting things is the number is kind of separated from the main body, and it's kind of got blockers in there as well. That's really interesting to me. I think that stands out a little bit, looks a little bit different, and makes it different from the Rain that we saw previously. But where it gets really interesting is the base. So it's kind of like a three-part case. You've got the top piece, which is an integrated plate. You then kind of got a polycarbonate middle piece, and then you've got another aluminium base piece, which acts as kind of like a foot angled rest piece that's kind of in an X shape. It's almost kind of like a weird X kind of shape.
I
which
like
is quite
this
interesting.
model.
That's that.
I think this is really cool.
Yeah, if you're a fan of RGB lights and you like that shine up stuff, this is going to look quite good on your desk, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. So a couple quick specs. So like Jim mentioned, there is an integrated plate. It doesn't actually say how thick it is, but from the pictures at the beginning, I would assume it's either 4mm or 5mm. Sorry, I just passed it. There it goes. All right, so yep, integrated plate, pretty thick there. It is going to be aluminum, and the middle layer is going to be acrylic, like we saw in the other pictures from the bottom. The PCB is going to feature RGB, hot swap, USB-C, and Bluetooth 4.0. So pretty feature-rich PCB here. It is going to run on TMK firmware, and that's going to use the that online TMK programmer, the ydkb.io right there. I've not actually used this before, but it seems fairly straightforward, so maybe not all bad.
I've used it once before. Yeah, ironically, I've used it for this macro pad, which it's quite easy.
Yeah, interestingly enough, this kit is actually going to come with not only plate mount stabilizers, but it's also going to come with the battery, which I thought was interesting because if anybody knows anything about shipping, it can be pretty tricky to ship batteries, especially internationally. So I wonder how that's going to go over.
China be doing China things, I suspect.
Yeah.
This one's because interestingly, I looked at shipping some stuff with batteries in here in the UK to a couple of people in the US, and it's pretty much a no-go unless you pay for extra insurance and you mark it and label it correctly and stuff like that. And unless you're doing it in great quantity, it doesn't seem worthwhile. That being said, I did order some stuff from Taobao and AliExpress, and it categorically said that the batteries weren't included on the listings. But when the devices arrived, and it was some game controllers as well, the batteries were included and they were there. So it is interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So to me, I feel like this layout is unnecessary. Is this a usable layout for you?
Yeah, so I actually really enjoyed using the Rain when I had it very briefly, and I'm sad that I had to give it back because I really enjoyed using it. Having the numpad to one side and also having, but sacrificing effectively just the punctuation keys actually worked out all right for me as a travel board, and I flitted between that, the TMO50 and a couple of other boards for a couple of weeks at the time. I actually really enjoyed using it. So I think the layout for me is actually one that's quite interesting. I think it's great. I can see your points as why wouldn't you just have, for the sake of 2U, have all of those keys added back? But for me, it worked out really well.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. So the price of this starts at $380 US. So a little up there, especially for boards that are, well, supposed to be pretty small, I guess. Yeah, that price seems a little high to me, but maybe not totally out of this world. The PCB is very feature-rich. It's good to see that. It's a bummer it's not QMK, but
yeah,
it does have a lot going for it.
The thing with the price you have to consider is that it's 3 mil pieces to make the case, plus it's got that PCB with all the functionality.
Yeah.
I don't think it's too extreme. I really don't. I don't think it's massively extreme.
All right, cool. So that group buy is open right now. I believe it closes on December 15th. So you still have a little bit of time, about a month, if you want to go check that out. And until then, we will move on to some key sets. Starting with...
Is this the week of GMK?
No, actually, it's not.
Oh.
In fact, this week has just been pretty tame, which is kind of nice because last week we had a pretty ridiculously long news doc, but it's kind of nice to tone it down just a little bit for like a week.
Yeah, absolutely.
So anyways, this is the interest check for GMK Dual Shot from Dixie Mech, and this is a pretty interesting key set, if I do say so myself. So this is kind of modeled after the colorway for the original Sony PlayStation. So if you're like me and you kind of grew up in that era, then this could be pretty near and dear to your heart, kind of like GMK DMG is to me, and this I feel pretty similarly about. So I mean, I had the original Sony PlayStation. Jay, I imagine you probably had one yourself.
I had multiple because I used to break them quite frequently.
Okay. Jay, the console destroyer, fantastic.
Yeah. Oh, anecdote time, because we were going to be doing a short show this week anyway. But the setup I used to have as a child in my bedrooms, this was like 94, 95. So I say child, I was like 10, 11 years old at the time. The TV was kind of on a cabinet, and there was no space to put the PlayStation at the side, and my parents were quite strict. I was only allowed the PlayStation out at certain times. So when we used to bring it out, it used to go on like a little box that sat in front of the cabinet, and the cables would be stretched across, but it was probably a 6-foot gap that the cables were stretched across, and that was the only path in and out of the room. And quite frequently the dog would come past and tear through and pull the cables, or I'd run out to go and get a drink or something like that or whatever, and I'd knock the thing over and it'd go flying across the room. And I think we ended up going through 4, I think. I also tried to mod chip one myself as well, and that fell completely because I was 11 years old with the solder, and I went straight through the PCB.
Oh, man.
It didn't work after that. It just didn't work, sadly.
Well, back to the set. I do think it's quite beautiful. It is actually using all stock GMK colors, and it is slated to run next month, so December, on Dixie Mix. So, pretty interesting. I like this one quite a bit.
In terms of the colorway, I completely get the historic look at the colors. The colors for me that Dixie's chosen don't match the actual colors that are from the inspiration of the actual PlayStation controller and the console itself, but they are the closest colors in terms of using stock colors that you could get to those colors. So I can see why he's chosen the ones he's chosen. I completely respect that. For me, I don't quite like the modifiers. I get the colors and I understand the source material, and I get the theme that he's trying to go for, but I just don't like the modifier keys in those colors. That being said, I absolutely adore those alphas. That grey with the dark grey legends, I absolutely adore that. 2B and N9, those colors work so well together for alphas. I'd like to see that whole thing as just a monochrome set. So like the whole thing without the colors on the modifier keys. As a monochrome set, that would be perfect for me. And I would, if Dixie ever ran that, I would beg him to put the UK ISO keys in that, even though he's against UK ISO all the time, because that would just be perfection for so many boards for me.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think if they did that, it would probably lose a lot of the theme that they have here. I think they really do need a splash of color, of course. Yeah, but base kit looking okay here. You do have numpad in here. You have basic ISO support. You have some kind of accents and these kind of Dixie Mech novelties going on as well. Pretty good standard support aside from that. HHKB, Sangon, Winkeyless, all that fun stuff. So looking like a pretty nice little kit. I could probably expect this to be priced somewhere between 120 and 130. I would estimate.
Yeah, probably fair. Yeah,
that's an estimate. There is going to be a Spacebars kit as well. Very nice, and yeah, looking pretty good. I like this.
Yeah, I think it'll do just fine. I don't think this is going to be one of the big hit sets like Dracula or anything like that. I think it'll be very niche, but it'll probably be a bit of a sleeper hit like DMG was. So DMG, for those that you don't know, struggled to hit MOQ, and then now it's run a second run almost immediately after the first round shipped because so many people wanted it afterwards when they saw how nice it was and how much the community had grown. And
it already passed MOQ on the second
run. It passed MOQ in like second day or something, I think, when I was looking at it. Rise watching, he can probably tell us, but I think it was like day 2 it hit MOQ or something, which is obscene. So I think this will do well. The MOQ will only be 150 because it's completely stock colors. It's not going to be a 250 MOQ. That might mean the price is a little bit higher because it depends on where Dixie is going to make from the set perspective. But I think you're probably right. $130 is probably about the ballpark for this set. I think it's fine. I'll probably pick this one up even if he doesn't put ISO in for me, mainly because I just love those alphas and I'd love to mix and match those alphas with something else.
Yeah, I mean, I think the color, the other colors aside, it's a pretty neutral set, so I feel like it'd be pretty good to mix and match with.
Yeah, I think that those alphas would look really good with 9s actually, GMK 9s. I think they'd look quite nice.
Interesting.
Or GMK 6s when that launches. The modifiers for that go the other way, have light modifiers, and the alphas look quite nice.
Yep, cool. So we'll have to look forward to this. Again, it's running in December on Dixie Mech, so we'll be able to pick this up and check it out soon.
Last question on this one. What do you think to the name?
Dual Shot? It's good. It's good. I mean, because when I first saw it, like, because obviously when you open up the thread, the first thing you see is this first picture here. It says Dual Shot Premium Keycap Set. It didn't register immediately with me, but I read Dual Shot, and then I saw the Premium Keycap Set underneath, and I saw the font. And those of you, obviously, if you had a PlayStation, you are very familiar with this particular font. And I said, oh, crap, that's a PlayStation theme. And then I realized Dual Shot, Dual Shock, put 2 and 2 together. Okay, now we're talking here. So it's fun. It might make you think for a second, but it gets the point across. It's good. I like the name.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it was good. Cool.
All right, cool. Moving on to another GMK interest check. This is GMK Yuru. Interest check by Aguilar, I believe is how it's pronounced. And this is a pretty interesting set that I like quite a bit. So this is based off an anime called Yuru Camp. I know people made jokes about the camping round 2 being called Yuru Camp or something like that, but this is actually very much its own set. So this is based off the very wholesome anime Yuru Camp. I liked it quite a bit. And yeah, so we got some burgundy and some cream and some teal going on here effectively. How do you feel about the colors?
Well, before we get onto the colors, where do I buy that scarf or whatever it is? Because I don't know what the theme of this is particularly. I don't, you guys, I know I don't really follow the anime stuff, but I want that scarf. That looks amazing. That looks so comfortable, warm, snuggly. Like the colors. Someone find me a link for that scarf.
Yeah,
surely.
you could probably find a link pretty easily. Someone in chat probably has it, and if not, you can probably ask Aguilar here, because I imagine he or she actually has one.
Yeah, I would wear the crap out of that scarf. I think it looks great, irrespective of whether I understood the source material or not. I think.
Oh yeah.
Turning to the key set then. Okay, just looking at the base kit, UK ISO. Thumbs up for that. Multiple enter keys, so you've got different enter keys. You've got the accents and the base the standard modifier accents. In terms of the rest of the set, you can cover pretty much anything. Numpad, 65% HHKB, multiple bottom rows. You've also got different coloured spacebars, so you've got the accent spacebars as well. Accent arrow keys. I think that as a base kit compatibility is pretty much as good as you're ever going to get. And there's some great keys in there. So yeah, I think that looks absolutely perfectly fine for me. In terms of the colours, I really like the red colour. It reminds me of the red from GMK Camping, but I think it's slightly different. This has got slightly more of a purplish tinge to it to me. I really like that colour. I think the legends on the white alphas look crisp, great, really good contrast, really nice, stands out great. Not quite sure I get the kind of mint colour with it. I get that that's part of the scarf or the colour of the show or whatever that is. Personally, I would just stick with the red and the white and keep it that way. But yeah, I really like this set. I think this looks absolutely stunning.
Yeah, I think the set is maybe a little boring, but I do like it. I feel like maybe I've just become kind of jaded lately because we see so many GMK sets every single week that I feel like I don't care as much about colorways anymore. I just care that they're GMK keycaps because that's what I like to type on.
Sure.
Which is like a terrible thing to say, but I do like the colorway, and obviously I do like the source material. So very nice. Let's talk about some of the other kits though. There is going to be a Hiragana sub legend kit here. This is actually going to feature the additional tab as well, so you can effectively use the set across 2 boards if you buy these 2 sets. Obviously, layouts pending.
Yeah, and UK ISO with the sub-legends as well. Again, second time we've seen that. Really happy to see that. I don't usually like sub-legends, but, compatibility support for minorities, absolutely fantastic for me. So yeah, really like that as well. Yeah, sorry, go on, bro.
Someone in chat hit you with that link, by the way, if you wanted the scarf, Jay.
Oh, Nathan Affleman, thank you. I've opened that up. I will take a look at that. I don't know what that is in dollars, but I will figure it out. Thank you, dude. Yeah, cool.
All right, so moving on, there is an actual Spacebar's kit, which is kind of interesting because the base kit itself comes with 4 Spacebars. So I thought it was kind of interesting to actually have that many Spacebars in the base kit and still have a Spacebar kit. Not that we don't need Spacebar kits, obviously, because so many people need them nowadays. But it's interesting that interesting that the other accent Spacebars weren't actually ported to this kit.
Yeah, so it is interesting because that's just the 4 6U space bars, right? The 6U centered and non-centered space bars.
Yeah.
And then you've got the split space bars as well. So that's really interesting because the 7U and the 6.25U for both colors are in the base kit. I'd almost argue that the that will be of detriment to that spacebar kit, and that spacebar kit will struggle to get to MOQ because you're only really going to have support from the split spacebar users. Very few boards these days use 6U, and I know some do, like the Equinox and a few other boards, but that's very few and far between.
Very few, yeah. So that'll be kind of interesting to see how that plays out. There's also a pretty full novelties kit here as well, which overall I would say I definitely like this novelties pack. I have obviously seen the show, and a lot of this makes a lot of sense to me, and I think it's a pretty good job. A couple of them seem a little too intricate, maybe, like this the moped here, and whatever this is. I think a couple of them have some lines that are maybe a little too thin for GMK Double Shot to accomplish, but again, we'll see. I think they're pretty successful overall. I love the scarf enter is great. I love the little tent accent. That's fantastic as well. I do like the moped and the bags and stuff.
Yeah, it's interesting that they've got the scarf on the enter and the shift key as well, because it's rare we see shift key novelties. I think the last set that I remember seeing them in was actually GMK Red Samurai, I think. I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't think of another one at least.
The best one out of all of these, and not knowing the source material though, is the one that says curry on it, and it's got the little pot noodle with the curry. That's great.
A little instant curry thing or whatever that is.
Yeah, absolutely love that.
Yeah. You Brits love your curry. I know that.
If I could only eat one cuisine for the rest of my life, it would be Indian food, which is not this. That's not. But yeah, good Indian food is always good.
Anyways, so let's take a look at some of these pictures while they're up here. It's nice. It's a good looking set. I really do think it is. All right, let's take a look at our next set here. Why don't you tell us a little bit about this one, Jay?
Yeah, so we've seen DSS keycaps before, not very many of them, but we have seen DSS. I've got DSS Dolch. We talked about this on one of my streams quite a long time ago when I did a build stream, and I kind of gave a mini review of the set at the time. And it's now back. So PMK, the front end store for Signature Plastics, they've released this new set, which is called DSS Tecla. This comes in a variety of different colours, but effectively it's a red, white, and blue set done through various kits, as is always the case with PMK, and it gives you pretty much whatever layout you want. This is actually based on something that Cassidy Williams did, so that's the person that was previously behind XDA Scrabble and DSA Astrolo Keys. So working together as well with Cassidy again, it's nice to see them come back into the fray from that perspective. So yeah, I think it looks okay. Red, white, and blue sets, always seem to be quite common in terms of interest checks, and it's rare we actually see them get to production. Please no one mention GMK Maga. So yeah, so it's interesting that this one's actually going to get made. I think it's quite interesting depending on how you put the different kits together, how you can get the different looks, and I really do like the fact that you have that different coloured numero to the alpha keys as well. I have always been a fan of that ever since there was a certain DSA set that ran a long time ago, and I think it ran in DCS as well. Skull Squadron. Yeah. One of my favourite sets of all time is that. So I kind of like having that different bit there. For me, the other kits, and I'm not going to go through all the kits because there's a ton of them, but I wouldn't like the kits that have all the different coloured WASD clusters and things like that. But I think you can get a fairly reasonable looking kit out of this.
I mean, I'm going to play the bad guy again. I don't think it looks that good. It's just a very standard red, white, and blue set. It's fine. I appreciate the profile because I do like DSS, but the colorway, it's just boring to me. I'm sorry, Cassidy. I love you, but I'm sorry.
So in terms of the profile, I think I've said this quite a few times. I actually think this has got a lot of potential. My problem with these keycaps is they're too rough on the texture. I just can't. It makes me cringe, and it sets off my teeth. When people draw their nails down the blackboard and it makes you cringe, just touching these keys gives me that feeling, which is a shame because I really like the sculpts, but I can't use them unless I polish the keycaps, which just it's insane amount of work to actually be able to use a keycap set. So that's the only downside to this for me. Yeah.
Well, regardless, if this is your thing, there's definitely a lot of kits available. You can outfit most 60% and larger boards for about $100, give or take. And if you're a 40% user, like a Plonk user or something, you can outfit a board for about $80 or so. So prices not too terrible here. if this is your kind of thing.
And speaking of prices, they're not too terrible. Our next keycap set that we have on sale, well, not we have on sale, but it is in group buy right now. It comes from Mito. So you'll remember Mito from such sets such as Laser and SA Laser and Laser and everything else that he's done as well. And those lovely, wonderful death masks he did. Because, you know, who doesn't know Mito in this community now? He's very much been around for a long time. But this is his new set. We covered it in Interest Check. Was it 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago? Not that long ago. Maybe mid-October time, maybe about a month ago at most. And there's a couple of different sets here. So the first one that we talked about before was the Pegaso base, and this is kind of like an all-encompassing cherry profile 1.6mm base kit that's made of PBT. Reverse die sub. It looks really interesting, refreshing. It kind of reminds me a lot of Godspeed, and I think you mentioned the same when you saw it as well, Brian. It's Godspeed without the yellow accents. Yeah, I think it looks just fine. But the price for this is only $70, which for that base kit is pretty impressive.
Yeah, so we talked about this, like you mentioned, it was either last week or the week before, and we definitely like the compatibility per dollar here. It seems pretty good. You get a lot of keys in this base kit for $70. I'm a little bummed they didn't hit the $60 price point that they were targeting last time we talked about it. That was the estimated price, $60 USD. You know, 70, still pretty good, but it would have been like phenomenal to hit that $60 price point, but yeah, I like to ask for the impossible. That's just kind of who I am. So, regardless, very, very rich compatibility in the base kit here. Can't really complain on that. There's also 2 different base kits, so if you want something a little bit more monochrome, there you go. Not super monochrome, but a little bit more monochrome.
Yeah, I'm not sure I could ever call a set with hot pink monochrome in it. But yeah, this is very much a different style of set. So this is a much more creamy alpha, creamy key color with legends in purple and hot pink and neon blue. There is some slight differences in terms of layout compatibility between the 2 sets. So in this set, Mito has removed the UK ISO key so that he can include 3 of his novelty keys instead. Completely get why he's done that. You know, he's got his Mito smiley face and the actual Pegasus horse novelty that he's developed for this set as well. I personally actually prefer the Founders Edition kit to the standard kit.
I do too, because now the Pegaso kit. Actually, Pluto just mentioned it in chat because I didn't really think about it before. Do you remember a set called DSA Infinity? It ran along in 2014, I think. It ran alongside like a really basic keyboard kit from Conone, if I remember correctly. And this is like exactly that set. It was like a bright alpha with a sky blue and black legends, and now that's all I can think about since Pluto mentioned it. So, it really does look like a PBT Infinity set, which I like, because I actually like that colorway a lot, but it's also a little mundane and a little played out. As far as the Mito Corn, which is the alternative base kit, I totally agree with you. I think it's a little bit more interesting, has a little bit more character in itself. And I actually do like those novelties that he's included, even though he had to take out UK ISO to do so.
Yeah, well, yeah, I won't comment on that part of it. The only thing I will comment on the ISO, and Eskimo just mentioned this in chat as well, is the positioning of the legend on the ISO enter. It just feels wrong where it is.
Yeah.
That's the only thing, but he has confirmed that was an intentional decision. That's where he wanted the legend. That's how he thinks it should look. So that's, designer's position. That's his conscious choice.
Sure.
And
it's also our choice to completely disagree with it.
Absolutely, yeah, and as an ISO
Which
user,
I do.
that's the one thing that puts me off this set more than anything else. So yeah.
Yeah, but as far as the colors go, I think it's pretty nice, it's pretty fine, and the price is pretty good. You get a numpad kit, $15, not too bad. You can get a spacebar kit, also $15, not too bad. And there's also a $35 novelty kit, which has a lot of keys in it, actually. As well as the Greek sub-legend alternative kits, basically. So yeah. I think this kit alone is pretty good value.
It is, yeah, absolutely, yeah. There's some good novelties in there as well, some ones that I really, really like. And the Greek keys are always a great advantage as well.
The problem is, if you can call it a problem, I guess, is that the novelties only really work for the Pegaso base kit. The Mito Corn kind of gets left out because the colors don't really match, so...
Yeah, but the
Interesting
Mito
choice.
coin does have its own novelties in the base kit. So.
Yeah, it's got a few. It's just kind of a bummer because I think the novelties kit is really good, but I much prefer the Mito corn base kit.
I tell a lie, it's got 4 because I didn't realize there's a row 4 Mito smiley face as well on there. I hadn't seen that before. But yeah, that's that.
Yeah. Anyways, price not too bad. You can find it over on Drop. Yeah, 1.6 millimeter PBT cherry profile die sub. Pretty interesting stuff. I'm curious what exact factory this comes out of, but obviously we're not going to know because it's manufactured by Drop.
Yeah,
they don't usually release that kind of stuff. So
I'm interested to see what these sound like as well. I'd be really interested to try these and compare them to some of the other PBT sets on the market and see what the sound profile's like. That'd be quite interesting.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna hit them up and I'm gonna see if we can get a set to try out because they probably have at least one prototype set floating around, knowing Drop. So
I'd be surprised if they didn't. Yeah, even if it was a different colorway, but to have the keycap set, yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna see if we can pick up a base kit of this in the near future and see what happens because I'd love to test these out as well. All right.
Royal dropping shade on drop in chat there a little bit.
Yeah, I know not everyone loves Drop. That's true. But we're not going to talk about that right now. Let's move on to our next and final topic, actually, of our news doc today.
Yeah, so Salvun's been featuring quite highly in the in the news doc today. But this is his new keycap, and guys, if you like this, prepare your wallets for a spanking because this is not a cheap keycap, not in the slightest. This is some titanium Damascus. So everyone's seen Damascus steel before. Well, this is titanium Damascus, also known as Timascus, and it's been now welded by Salvun into a keycap, well, milled into a keycap from a blank piece of blank stock. And I have to say, this looks absolutely stunning. I've got a set of chef knives that are made from Damascus steel. I've got a couple of vintage Japanese swords that are made out of Damascus steel as well, and that I used to collect. And this just looks stunning in titanium. I really, really like that. That being said, it isn't cheap. And when I said prepare your wallets for a spanking, this is $200 for a single keycap. How do you feel about that, Brian?
I mean, I get why it's attractive. Obviously, the material, titanium Damascus, is, wildly expensive. So we can obviously assume that a lot of the cost is because of the material itself. And, I do think Salvun does a great job. And like you mentioned, these do look incredible. They really do look fantastic. I would never personally pay $200 for one of these because I don't care enough about artisan / novelties that much. But it's a cool product, and I do believe there are people out there that A, want stuff like this, and B, have the money to spend. So
for sure. Yeah. I'd be really tempted to pick one of these up I might have a word with Salvun and see if we can if we can get hold of one, even if it's just to test around and have a play around with. But I'd really like to at least see one of these in real life, and if I have to buy one, I might just do that. I did actually ask him just the other day when I was talking to him to give me a quote for a JO2 pen rail made out of this material. Suffice it to say, he hasn't given me the quote yet, but I'm expecting my jaw to drop and hit the table when he does tell me how much it's going to be, because I can imagine that's not going to be cheap. He said to me, when I sent the file over to him, I said, "Oh, can you make one of these?" And he said, "Is it a small file?" I said, "It's the smallest part of the board." And he was like, "Oh, right, okay." And then he came back to me and said, "That's not a small piece, dude." I'm like, "No, it's not, but it's the smallest part of the board." So I'll be interested to see how that goes. But yeah, I think it looks great as this, and I really like the material, the look it gives, and steep, but might be worth it.
Yeah, I love these pictures next to the ladybug though. This is some artsy stuff.
Yeah. Do you reckon he captured that ladybug and placed it there just for the shot?
Yeah,
or
absolutely. No, 100% he did that. 100%.
He's got a ladybird farm, just trying to find the one with the spots in the white.
Look at how artistically this leaf is placed on what I presume is his deck or something. This is pretty intentional, I feel.
Yeah, that ladybug is actually glued on. It's not really live. He's glued it to the leaf.
No, you're ruining my immersion, Jay. I have to believe that this is a live and healthy ladybug, so I feel better about everything going on here. But man, that is one truly beautiful cap. There's no denying that.
It was alive when he actually glued it down, dude. If that helps.
Can you stop, please? Can you just not? Oh my gosh. All right. So, anyways, this is the interest check for that. So, we don't actually know exactly when this is coming, but expect it to be soon, I suppose.
Yeah, yeah. I guess it depends on if anyone actually is willing to put the hand in the pocket and pay for it.
Yeah, I am like dying to know how many people would actually buy one of these. Anyone in chat, would any of you buy one of these? If this launched tomorrow, how many of you would actually buy one?
Classy and nebulant, both words. Frisco melts as if they had 200. Tenstrong says people buy renders. Yeah, that's true. That's true. They do buy based on renders.
That's true. It's true. This is not even a render. This is a real picture of a real product.
I at least want to see this in real life and want to feel it and touch it and hold it, even if I don't buy one. But if the only way I'm going to get to do that is to buy one, then I'll probably end up buying one.
Quite a few people are saying they'd get one of these.
Yeah. Starson says he's already told Salvun to invoice him. Yeah, completely.
Nice. Okay, cool. Yeah, so clearly there's a market for this kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's just not me, because I'd rather buy 2 GMK sets for that price.
That's fair. Maybe.
When you start to think about products in terms of other products instead of money, that really starts to change my mind. Because I'm like, I could just buy like a keyboard for that. Like I could, I'm most of the way to one of those sweet new Clipa Plus kits or whatever, or like I could buy a GMK set or two.
That's every kit of the Pegaso and the other set that we just looked at, the Founders Edition. You can buy all of them
with enough left over to take your significant other out to a nice lunch. So I don't know.
Maybe a coffee.
Yeah, it's an awesome product, but I can't see myself ever personally spending $200 on a singular cap. I never have, and I don't think I ever will.
Yeah, maybe I buy one of these and just put it in a random box from the JO2 group buy, and someone will just find it in the box. Maybe that'll happen. I don't know.
Wow, interesting.
Maybe.
Okay, all right. Well, speaking of Jay being way too nice, let's move on to our sponsors. So if you guys have questions, we're going to start our Q&A section right after the sponsor spot, so feel free to start getting those questions in now. You can use the @TopClack tag so we can see it a lot easier, guys. All right, first and foremost, we have ZealPC.net, aka Zeal Generation, which you can find at ZealPC.net/TopClack. That's an affiliate link. It helps us out so much more than you might believe. And yeah, so if you're buying from there, please consider that. He does have his usual array of products in stock, including all of his very popular switches. He's got you covered if you want linears with the Telios, if you want tactiles with the Zelios, if you want silent switches. He has multiple varieties, lots of different weights, lots of different styles. Absolutely love them. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. The Zelio V2 is currently my favorite switch on the market right now. So feel free to check some of those out if you haven't already. He also sells stabilizers, lubes, and other things of that sort. Again, don't forget that affiliate link if you are purchasing.
Yeah, you might also want to check out novelkeys.xyz. So Mike and gang who run Novel Keys, lots and lots of different stuff up and available on their store at the moment. So if you're interested in GMK keycaps, you can take a look at GMK Analog Dreams. This is in group buy until the end of the month. Full of pastel colors, lots of snazzy graphics, some great novelties. If that's up your street, you might want to pick that up. And I think actually Quaid's actually been showing off the color matching keycaps for the pink earlier on today as well. So we're already well underway in that process too. If you're looking for something else, there's also HSA. So this is the first group buy for HSA, and you can pick up white on black from Mike at Novel Keys. So this is a really shiny double shot ABS, new from JTK, half SA profile, really interesting. I really enjoyed these keys. I'm actually going to be shipping Brian the full prototype set, which I still have, tomorrow. So he should get them hopefully in time for the show next week, and we can get your thoughts on something soon as well. There's also the GMK Greek Age add-on kit still on here as well. So if you're still looking for the Greek legends, you can still pick those up. So feel free to pick that to take a look at that. It's very cheap. It's $30. Great kit for the price. You can do whatever else you want with that. Put it with any of the L9 sets. You know, any 9009 or any OG keycaps. All look great with all of them. Failing that, though, Mike has got pretty much everything else you could possibly need for a modern keyboardist. Ink switches, Gateron switches, every type of switch under the sun, you name it, he's probably got it, or he's going to have it in stock very soon. If you need something else, you can pick up some springs that will help you tweak those switches to your liking. And there's also a ton of different desk mats that are available as well, including some that match Milkshake and other recently run keycaps, and including one really, really nice one that actually matches Rocco's Modern Life. So I feel like now we need a key set to go with Rocco's Modern Life as well.
I was waiting for someone to bring that up. I really was.
I really like that key. Mat.
Yeah,
That's mat. Really nice. Yeah.
Did you watch the show growing up?
Oh, of course I did. Yeah, Rocco's Modern Life. I just love that thing.
It was such a weird show looking back on it now, but yeah, I used to as well. Anyways, back on topic here. We're gonna move over to Impa Club over at Kono.store, and they are kind of in a GMK corner lately. They have several group buys open currently for GMK, including GMK Umbra, which you can check out right there. Very nice, as well as GMK ASCII. If you're more into the ASCII format of things, I like that set quite a bit. They also have GMK Yugo going on right now. Bam, right there.
Guys, yep.
Yeah, I think this set is struggling pretty hard, if I recall. So, maybe consider picking this up if you're into this sort of thing. Not terribly expensive, $120 base kit. Could certainly be worse. They also have GMK Sharkbait and another run of GMK 9s up right now. So they currently have 5 GMK sets going on right now, and I think they're planning on running even more this month. So lots of crazy stuff coming out from them. So if you like GMK sets, check out Kono this month.
Yeah, absolutely. If you want to check out another store, though, there is KBDfans as well. KBDfans has a variety of different things on offer depending on what you need. So if you want to check out some of the SA keycaps that they've got available, they've got 2 sets that are in group buy at the moment. They've got SA Mochoco, which is a nice pink, cream, and green set. They've also got Max Key's Virtual War, which I think looks quite tasty. It's kind of all dark greys and yellows and blacks and creams. A really, really nice looking set as well. That being said, KBDfans wouldn't be anything without the boards that they produce, and they do produce some cracking boards for a great price as well. So they have pretty much everything you could possibly want from a kit to get someone into the hobby, as a starter board, as a work board, pretty much all of the different levels up to the mid sort of tier within the hobby that we see. So if there's any kind of kit that you were interested in, they're probably going to have something for you. So please do check those out, and especially take a look at the B stock market as well, because they have some great deals on there as well. There's always new stock coming in and out every other day on that store. So take a look at the B stock store. You might just find something that pick up that'll suit you down to a T. So always check that out. And I think as well, didn't Way say that they've got the upcoming Black Friday and Cyber Monday sales in a week or so?
They do. They have a countdown timer on the top of their site.
Oh wow, nice.
Which is pretty cool. So yeah, only a little over a week, you're gonna have some Black Friday and Cyber Monday deals, which is pretty awesome.
Sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah. And last but not least, we have the Key.Company, who has a few things going on right now, including the C3 equals stabs that we've been wanting to check out for a while. We do have some of these on the way. They're looking pretty promising. I hope they absolutely are, and they're pretty inexpensive too. So lots of different color options to choose from, depending on what kind of style you're going for there. So that's something to definitely check out. And like we mentioned earlier, they are still running GMK DMG. The second run, aka the flash sale, is still open until tomorrow. So it does close tomorrow, so if you still want to get it, make sure you get in today. Get in on all that goodness. It is a cheaper base kit than the previous run of GMK DMG at $149. So pretty rich base kit there. Lots of compatibility, lots of accents and novelties in there as well. And last but not least, they have the Clack Cat apparel going on right now, if you're still into this. Ends November 17th, so just a few days left on that. They got shirts, hoodies, cropped hoodies, all different sizes. I think they're pretty awesome. So make sure to check those out as well. All right, guys.
Excellent. Cool. So, time to jump into our Q&A. So first, shout out to the Sweaty Yeti for his 250 bits. Thank you very much for those, dude, including the Shamrock bits. Really enjoying those.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, really nice. Nebulant says, first question for me, says, maybe hit up Salvun for a normal Damascus pen rail for the JL1. I would pay good money for one. Yeah, it's something that I might talk to him about. Standard Damascus should be significantly cheaper than Timascus, so yeah, I might have a chat with him. If you reach out to me in the channel we've got for the JL1 group buy, then yeah, we'll take a look at that.
Yes. Nathan Alphaman asking, do you have full board review of the Thick Thok marshmallows on the way? Yes, because those switches should be arriving to me on Saturday, so in just 2 days from now, I can get those. I'm gonna do a build stream. I'm gonna put them in a board. I'm not gonna lube them first. I'm gonna use them completely stocked first. So I'm just gonna throw them in a board. It might be hot swap. I might be soldering something up. Who knows? We'll find something to do. I promise. And then we'll test those on stream, and then I will lube them, and then we will rebuild and retest. So it's gonna be a good time. I'm really looking forward to them, though. I think there's a lot of potential there.
Yeah, just as an aside of this, they put a post up on Reddit yesterday, and within 2 hours, I'd got like 9 DMs on Reddit and like 4 on Discord asking if I was getting any. I'm not, guys. Go and ask Brian. Stop asking me because I've not got these to try. Yeah, I can't help you. Sorry.
Yeah, I on TopClack.com, I wrote a little bit of a review, a little bit of an overview and first impressions. So if you guys want to know my initial thoughts at the 2 switches that I already have, go check that out on TopClack.com because people have been asking me how I feel about them, and I just keep pointing them over there because that's all I know right now. Until I get the rest of the switches, that's all I know. The information is out there. So we'll check back in. That'll probably be a build stream next week. Although I am planning on building something tomorrow on stream. So
cool.
There's that as well. 10 Strong with our next question, asking, I gotta do it. Thoughts on Haley opening for buys already, and that people are buying it, as well as the Cygnus for sale apparently. Alright, so basically what happened was Haley wasn't necessarily supposed to be open to the public yet, but I believe Phoenix Star in her Discord server opened it up for a couple people to join, and I think someone shared it, and then someone else shared it, and it wound up on several different platforms that was more than just her personal Discord, and because of that, a bunch of people had already started buying it. The reason why people are kind of upset about what's going on is because there is no physical prototype yet. We did cover the Haley on the show last week. I think it's an amazing looking board, one of the nicest ones I've seen in a while. I'm personally very excited for it, but I never want to see a group buy open until they actually have a prototype, because we have to have some kind of baseline on what the quality could be, should be, and hopefully will be. So I don't approve of that, but at the same time, I feel like if she were just opening it up for a couple friends and that was all, then that's not really that controversial to me. The fact that it got shared around everywhere and people that were outside this personal circle of friends started joining, that's when it became a problem. So it probably shouldn't have been shared, but stuff happens, I guess.
Yeah, so I actually had a chat with Phoenix Star about this as well, and I was quite open with my thoughts and feelings on it with her, and I'd never be anything but honest with any of you that I talk to about anything, but my view on this is very similar to Brian's. I think even to have an IC without a prototype these days is kind of interesting. A lot of people won't post an IC. For example, one of them, I wouldn't post an IC without having a prototype of something that I was ready to say, guys, I've proven that this works. I'm confident it works. It's definitely going to go somewhere. It's definitely going to happen. That being said, I really like the Haley, and I like Phoenix as well. I think she's great to talk to. She's always open and honest when you talk to her. That's the feeling that I get from her. So, fully support from that perspective. And I think the board looks fantastic. I'm excited to try one out. I'm excited to build one, have a go with one, all of that kind of good stuff as well. I think the 2 things for me that stand out on this particular issue is, one, the group buy was supposed to run in January, and it's only limited to 75 units. Given the fact that it's open now and you can still buy them, there is no chance that those 75 units are still going to be available in January when the group buy was supposed to run. So people who don't know about this already, the Keycap post, folks who only follow it on Keycap and don't use the Discord servers and all of that kind of stuff, they're going to potentially miss out, which might cause some uproar and some misleading kind of information, and they might be slightly upset with that, and I can completely understand why. The second side to it is what Brian alluded to as well, is that if this was just intended for a small number of people to open, it's a public Discord server, and there might be only 2 or 3 people that post in the channel regularly, but there's probably 200 people in that Discord server that see it and might copy the link and paste it and post it elsewhere, or might just join from there as well. I saw it within 2 minutes, 3 minutes, all over a couple of EU forums, the UK one as well. It was posted on Clack in 2 different channels. We had it posted within the space of a matter of minutes that it was all open and people started buying. Now, what I would say is it's buyer beware. If you've bought one, that's entirely your risk, and you need to be aware of that because it's a group buy that I'm sure will do just fine, and the board looks like it's designed really well, and I'm sure any problems will be put to bed through the prototyping process. But that hasn't been done yet, so you are buying it at your own risk. So just bear that in mind. I don't want to take anything away from Phoenix. Don't want to take anything away from the board itself. I think it looks great. I fully support it, but I do think this was maybe a decision that was made slightly in error, and it was probably not considered what the impact of it could be. And the way that stuff goes around our community these days. I mean, man, you mention something in one Discord, you hop over to another one, and 10 people are already talking about it. Information goes fast and it doesn't stop. It's quite easy for that to happen. So you just need to be very careful with that. And my advice would be, if you're ever going to do something like this yourself, and you only want 2 or 3 people to look at what you're sharing, just share it with those 2 or 3 people. Don't put it in a Discord that's open that people can see, even if there's only 2 or 3 people posting.
Yeah, I definitely don't agree with it opening early. It seems like kind of a misstep, whether it was an accident or not. I think it's probably something that should be rectified immediately. I feel the orders should just be closed and canceled probably until the group buy officially opens, but that could just be me. Also, I wouldn't join, as a consumer, I wouldn't join the group buy before the prototyping phase was completed anyways, basically, so I don't know.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have launched it like this, but again, it's not my group buy. So
no, I think the thing is, it's not following the plan that she outlined as well. The plan was that the group buy was going to run in January. Well, it's not even December yet. It's the middle of November. But it's 8 weeks before the end of the year, and that's a good chunk of time. So I can't see 75 boards, even at that kind of price value, staying in stock for over 8 weeks to get to actually when the group buy was supposed to run. That's the bigger problem for me. The fact that timescale's been pulled to the left so far, that probably has a downstream impact on people that wanted to get in on this and now potentially can't because they're not expecting it to run. They've planned to have the money available in January, and now they can't pick one up, or whatever that looks like. If you state a plan, you stick to the plan as best you can. It's all right if things slip to the right and you don't do them at the time you said. So if the group buy moved from January to February, that's fine because people can accommodate that into their lifestyles. But moving stuff earlier is often a recipe for disaster when you're reliant on group buys to run in that kind of way. Having a plan and sticking to it is the best bet.
Yep, completely agree. All right, Nathan Alphaman with another question asking recommendations for a full-size or 1800 Bluetooth keyboard.
Ooh,
I'm not aware of any full-size or 1800 Bluetooth keyboards.
Not this mechanical. No, I don't know of anything either. Certainly nothing in the custom world. There might be something in the manufactured world, and maybe an OEM board somewhere, maybe even a Vimeo board or something like that. But I don't know of any. Sorry, dude, can't answer that one.
Yeah, I wish I had an answer, but I can't think of anything. 2QT asking Brian, just going back to one-handed typing, with one-handed typing being the next large step for Wait, what? Hold on, is this a joke? With one-handed typing being the next large step for humanity, can you provide examples of when typing with one hand might be useful? Thank you. All right, well, joking aside, like I mentioned earlier, I like the idea of being able to use a keyboard with my left hand so I don't have to take my hand off my mouse with my right hand.
Is that what you people are going to these days? Right, I see.
Yeah, That's you can think about whatever you want, Jake. This is a wholesome show, damn it.
You know where 2QT was going with this. You know exactly what it is.
That's why I stopped midway and I was like, oh man, this is a mistake. But you know what? It can be used just for that. It can be used exactly how you want it to be used.
The good use case for me is I can still type whilst I'm drinking my cup of coffee, and that would be a good one for me.
That'd be good too. There's a lot of things you can do when you have one hand free, Jay.
Sure. Yeah, there's a lot of things you can do when you've got one hand free. Yeah.
Yep.
Good times all around.
Let's just leave it at that. Yep, good times. Okay. All right.
Frisco Melt then is next up. He says, you think the POM drop pandas are worth the try? Any new switch is worth a try, is my view. Take a punt on it. Why not? Don't necessarily set your hopes and sights on it being the best switch ever because no one's tried it. But definitely don't be afraid to try new things.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'd like to try them. I'm not super anxious to try them. I think they'll probably be okay. But yeah, anything new is pretty much always worth trying.
Yep.
Sweaty Eddie donates another 250 bits. Thank you so much.
Nice. Thank
Very
you.
kind of you.
Thank you, man.
Yes. And then let's see. So I'm trying to catch up still, guys. The Catfish Man with our next question. I believe that's the next question.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Any thoughts on loose leaf issues with recent Gateron switches? Would you recommend staying away from Gateron for now? So I was actually talking about this in the mykeyboard.eu Discord just the other day. So my original understanding was this has only been seen on some Zeal switches and on the latest round of inks. Sadly, I haven't had any of the latest round of inks because I got a couple of thousand when they first came out. I haven't used all of those up yet, although I'm starting to run out now, so I'll probably get some of the next round. So I haven't experienced it on any switches. So in the Necros from mykeyboard.eu, they're going to get some more of the inks in that could potentially have that issue. So they're going to ship some to me and see if I can find some and see if I can work out what it is. I have had some new batches of new Gateron switches, blacks, yellows with milky tops. I've not seen any issues on any of those switches at all. But I know that Straight Classy had seen it on some new Zelio switches, which is interesting as well. So yeah, I think it's buyer beware as always with this kind of stuff. Things change, sometimes molds change, sometimes there are updates. From what I understand, the Necroman from mykeyboard.eu is speaking to the Gateron representative that they've got, and this issue is going to be fixed from future rounds. They were aware of it, so in the near future it will be fixed. And that's about all I know on the issue, I'm afraid. Haven't experienced it though.
Yeah, I haven't experienced it either, but I have heard people talking about it, specifically with Gateron inks. Where apparently the leaf is just so loose inside the switch when you're maybe taking them apart to lube, to modify, whatever, the leaf can just fall out. It's kind of a bummer because when you have bad tolerances with the leaf, you can get a lot of really bad acoustic issues, which are not very satisfactory. So yeah, it's a bummer, but I haven't experienced it yet myself either because I haven't bought inks in a while.
Yeah. So if anyone's got one that is like this and you want to ship it to me or Brian, depending where you are in the world, we'll take a look at it and compare it to some of our stock switches and take a look. So yeah, happy to do that.
Absolutely. Jack Static saying that Eric's, I don't know how to pronounce that username, I'm sorry. I seed a one-handed keyboard for real. Really interesting. I don't know if I've seen it.
I don't think I've seen it either. No, I'd like to see that.
Yeah. One-handed keyboards, man.
Share the link.
One-handed keyboards are the future, let me tell you. Saturn OG asking... Shh, it's fine. Just let it happen, Jay. Just let it happen. Saturn OG asking, just got here, so I apologize if this was asked. Did you either get in contact with Massdrop and confirm if the new pandas are actually Palm? I have not personally reached out to ask them if they are Palm or not, but I don't see why they would lie about the housing material.
Yeah, and if you look at the images of the prototypes, they actually look like POM as well.
They do
I'm
look
pretty
like
sure
POM,
they are going to be POM. Yeah, pretty sure they will be.
Yeah, I would definitely imagine that. The Royal asking me if my hands are massive. Yeah, I have pretty big hands. I mean, here's an iPhone 6s to give you some kind of an idea, I guess. I don't know. I have pretty big hands. Yes. Watch any of my typing tests on the YouTube channel, and you'll see that my hands tend to be pretty large.
If you see Brian's hands by 60%, it looks like a 40 in my hands.
Yeah. Despite that, 60% is my favorite size. All right.
Interesting.
Scrolling on down here, Frisco Melt asking thoughts on Keeb Talk being slowly more focused toward Discord and not forums. Personally not a fan of how things like Metaverse 2 IC being fractured into the old Group by Thread and his Discord, and the overall fracturing of disorganization in the community. Okay, so you're basically referring to how a lot of interest checks and group buys and updates and things are effectively almost Discord exclusive these days, and things not moving away. Things have been moving away from public formats like Reddit and Keycap, which have been not as updated, I suppose. So very interesting topic. I think I think it's easy to say that I'm against it, just because I think if you are, let's say, running a group buy that you have out on Keycap or something, and I think that people deserve to have updates on the platform that is like the most accessible for people to join. If that makes sense. So, not a Discord, obviously. Like, if you're putting out a group buy thread on Geekhack, that's a big deal, because Geekhack is kind of universal for us. All of us use it at some point. Whereas, not everyone is going to be in every single Discord server ever for every single product they have ordered in their keyboard career. So I think that having a universal platform that's outside of Discord servers, even if the Discord servers are public, I don't care. I don't think you should always have to join a Discord server for updates on a specific topic. If you launched a group buy thread on Geekhack, you should be keeping it up to date, in my opinion.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I think wherever you announce a group buy, interest check, anything else, that's where you should update. So if you update, if you announce it on Discord, then and you have a channel for it, you should keep your updates in there as well. If you then go and put an interest check on Geekhack, you should put your updates on there as well. Same for the group buy stages and everything else. Wherever you mention it, you should put updates. If you put it on Keep Talk, add it there. Type Hype, add it there. Wherever you do it, you add it. You don't run the group the group buy on Geekhack and then only put your updates in Discord. That's not a good way to be.
Yeah.
Now, there's nothing wrong with just using stuff on Discord if that's where you want to limit your audience. You don't want to go too far. You don't want things to go too crazy and grow arms and legs that you're not ready for. That's fine. Completely understand that. 400 and odd carbon fiber plates will teach me that as well. But it's about doing the right things in the right ways and making sure you replicate those behaviors across how you act as well. Anyone who runs a group buy is automatically seen as someone who's quite important within the community and almost as one of the leaders of the community. That's just how this thing works. It puts you on a plane that's above and more visible than a lot of people, because you're literally standing out and saying, look at me, I've got something I want to share with you. So you need to make sure that if you're taking on that responsibility, you're taking on that accountability as well, and just making sure you're aware of that.
Yeah, definitely. Don't run a group buy if you don't have time for it or you don't plan to put out appropriate updates, etc. You take on a big risk. It's when you when you operate with so many different people's money. When you take that much money from that many people, like you gotta update stuff. You can't really not do it, I feel like, and it's really poor form to do otherwise.
And even giving there is no update is an update in itself, and it gives people confidence that
things are going nominally.
Yeah,
that's
we
fine.
are on track. It's on plan. There's nothing to tell you. Nothing's deviated. Nothing's changed. That's just as good as a status update as saying, everything's here. It's ready to ship. Or, do you know what, guys? We have a bit of a setback. We're going to be delayed by a week, a month, a year, whatever else it is. Although if you're delayed by a year, then perhaps you've got big problems you need to sort out. But you get the drift of where I'm going with this. No update, but actually saying there is no update is an update in itself, and it's just as valuable to anyone who follows what you're doing and is interested in what you're doing as giving them something specific as an update.
Yeah. All right. Moving on. Let's see.
Korean American Barbecue actually says, what else is large? I think he's referring to your hands. Brian's got big feet as well. I can confirm.
My feet, I wear size 14 wide in America. Actually, double wide. So yeah, I don't know what that translates into other countries' shoe sizes, but in America, that's pretty large. A few people commenting on the loose leafs on not only Zeal switches, but linears as well. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I didn't think the issue went that far back, I'll be honest. Yeah, it is interesting.
Yep. Ted Strong links a YouTube video, but I'm not going to open it on stream because I don't know what'll happen, and that's scary.
Yeah, and the Royal also donating 100 Big Daddy Hand Brian bits as well. And speaking of the Royal and donations, if you guys are interested in supporting a charity this week, I'm pretty sure that King the Keys, which is Royal Store, is running a bit of a fundraiser on PCBs for the Primey, I think. I'll drop the link in chat. Go and check that out, guys, if you're interested in donating. I think it starts from $1 for a chance to win some PCBs, so go have a look at that as well, guys.
$1 is pretty cheap, last I checked.
Yeah, it's not much. I'd buy that for $1. That's the phrase, right?
Yeah, I don't remember where that's from, but yeah, I do hear people say that. I don't remember where that's from, but yeah, I do hear people say that.
Okay.
Slippery Pete ED asking, have you guys considered covering keyboard news that isn't specifically interest check or group buy related? I'm not talking drama, but rather other community stuff like new vendors or community tools popping up. The way
we have done in the past.
Yeah. So the way we try to operate is we try to talk about the things that are either the most interesting and or B, the most relevant to the community. So like if it's hard because so many new vendors are popping up all the time. There's been so many news topics in both key sets and keyboards lately. It's hard to keep up. Our news doc often gets way fuller than it honestly should, and we're starting to consider ways of trying to trim that down, basically. We can't always be covering, 20, 25, 30 topics every single week, especially when, a lot of them don't really have a whole lot of potential. So we've already been kind of trying to downsize a little bit and only covering, like, for example, interest checks that actually have like a sheer amount of effort in them. Group buys that are happening, we try to cover every group buy. Interest checks always kind of a coin flip because you never know what's going to happen and what isn't. But yeah, we try to cover other stuff as well. It's just, I don't know, not other stuff doesn't always happen.
Yeah, I mean, we covered the /r/custom keyboards awards that they did when the OGR won the Satanicus board. The guy behind the rain, he won that competition. We covered that. We covered QMK when they had that big update to the webpage to make it easier to select key maps and all that kind of stuff.
The keycaprenders.com when that launched.
Yeah. So we do try and include other things. There's a few examples we think of off the cuff. I think it's difficult, as Brian said, for us to include something every week because we do go off at tangents and talk about a lot of different things. And with just the sheer volume of news that goes through the community these days, we don't catch up on everything. Like today, we didn't cover Metaverse, even though I knew about it yesterday and it was being talked about. It's been back in IC, and I think it's going to run in January, February time or something like that. It's not something we covered on the show today because it wasn't on Keycap of all places or anything else. So we didn't pick it up, and if we had, it just adds and adds and adds. There's so many stories for us to cover. So we've toyed with a few ideas, like not covering certain things in interest check and waiting until it hits group buy, or waiting until it's been in interest check for a couple of weeks before we cover it and give it a chance to see whether it's got legs or not, and see whether there's any audience participation in the chats and in the comments about whether it seems interesting to the community or not. So we are toying with ideas of how we do less to do more for you guys, if that makes sense.
Yeah, not everyone wants to sit down and watch a 3-hour show. Especially when a lot of the things aren't pertinent or relevant to them personally. So it's kind of a balancing act. We do like to keep this show to like 2 hours tops. I know we're actually coming up on that pretty soon. But we really do try to keep it a little bit more streamlined. But I think moving forward, just because of how much the community has been growing and how many more things are happening in the community with various people and various products, it's becoming difficult to do what we do with the same structure. So we're going to be forced to streamline in specific ways, maybe break off some things, like you'll be seeing with interviews coming up soon. Like if we try to still do interviews on this main show, the show would be 4 hours long, like every single week.
Yeah,
it would be terrible, and nobody would want to watch it. That's why we're going to be breaking off interviews moving forward. So it's just things like that. If anyone ever has ideas, constructive criticism, we're always open. I actually do keep a list of things that Top Clack needs to work on, basically, to be better from past things. So if you guys have other ideas and stuff, you can always let us know. We're always open and receptive to any kind of information you might have.
Yeah, and you can get in touch with us in a variety of different ways. You can reach out to us on Discord, or if that's not your thing, you can send us an email, topcrack@gmail.com. You can reach out to us on, I think we've still got a Twitter account as well, and all sorts of other bits and pieces. So however you find it best to speak to us, you can do that. You can get in contact with us through the website as well. It's like a feedback form that you can fill out there. Just reach out and give us your thoughts, guys.
Yeah, but good question. We definitely try to cover community stuff and tools when we see them and they're relevant. Sweaty Eddie donates another 250 bits. Holy crap! Wow, that is very kind of you.
Yeti is so on fire. Thank you, dude. We really appreciate the support.
That's a lot of bits.
Thank you, man.
Absolutely. All right. People talking about my feet. All right.
Next one I can see comes from Straight Class. He says, at Top Clack, a blackboard with GMK white on black is one of the best things in this world. Name something better. JO2. Same,
right.
same myself.
I agree with Classy actually. Especially when I was newer to the community, I really did think that was like the pinnacle of the keyboard community at the time. Like a blackboard with like GMK white on black is just it really can be absolutely amazing. I totally agree. Even though it's just black and white, I think there's such of like a nostalgia and elegance factor that is just impossible for like any kind of colorful setups to top. A lot of it's in like, you know, really nice pictures though. So if you're really good with a camera or, you know, post effects and stuff like that, it really helps. But
yeah,
you're right, Classy. That kind of stuff gets me every time.
Yeah, sometimes the simplest things are the nicest. Like, you know, a nice dark grey board with Honeywell on nearly always gets me, you know, interested in looking more about it because it's just one of the nicest sets and it's just lovely. So yeah. Oh gosh, Flexman with 2,222 bits. I think that is. Is that 2222? I think.
Holy
wow,
crap.
that's a lot of bits. Thank you very much, Flexman. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You are amazing.
Wow. Oh, that's huge.
But, we should count this and make sure we so 7, 14, 18, 22. Yeah, you're right. So yeah, 2,000.
Of course I was right.
Oh, 2,222. Wow. It took me way too long to put that together.
2,220. That's just what I said. Yeah.
I don't listen to you, Jay. Sheesh.
You know what? I thought you were going to be nice to me today, Brian. You said you were going to be nice.
You thought
to me.
wrong. So what's actually kind of funny that I totally forgot exists in the OBS is that new mini event log or whatever.
Yeah,
I could have just read that because it does tell you exactly.
It also shows up on the stream as well. Like, if you got the
Yep, that's terrible. All right, we're awful. Anyways, we're gonna be heading out in just a couple of moments here, guys. So if you have any last minute questions, make sure to get them in right now, so then Jay can go get some work done.
Yeah, absolutely. And just while we're waiting for that, Brian, you said you've got a build stream coming up tomorrow?
Yep. So I'm finally going to be getting around to building this Perry 60 V2 that
nice.
Slippery Pete so generously sent me. I'm going to be... I don't know what switches I'm going to put in there yet, but I'm going to have something. I have something. We're going to put something in there, and it's going to be pretty awesome. So I'm going to be doing that, and then next week I should be doing another build stream. I'm not sure what it's going to be yet, but I need to put those marshmallow switches to use once they come in, so... Yeah,
gotcha.
Tune in tomorrow. It'll probably be somewhere around 4 p.m. or 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. Pacific time. I'll make an announcement hours beforehand in the Discord, so anyone that cares can actually check out the announcement section of the Discord.
Yeah, absolutely cool. And then on Sunday, guys, don't forget I'm building this prototype for Noah, which is called a Doppelganger. You'll see more about it on stream on Sunday. I'll be unboxing, unveiling, and building that board for Noah on the stream. That'll be at the normal time of 8 p.m. UK, which is 12 noon Pacific or 3 p.m. Eastern time, depending on where you are in the world. You should be able to work out when I'll be live from there. Or, of course, you can just hit that button and it'll tell you when we go live. So, yeah, or watch out in the Discord and you'll see when we go live as well. So those are the two build streams that we've got coming up. Not planned any further in advance than that at the minute, but in terms of reminders, guys, if you want to sign up to our Secret Santa, you can do. There's two. There's one for the US, one for the rest of the world. Go check the announcements on Discord. It's all in there. The links were posted into chat earlier on. But do please join in the next week or so because it finishes on the show next week. That's when we're going to close it. And then you'll be automatically paired with someone else and you'll have until the 19th of December to ship them their products. So they should have it on the 19th of December. That's when they should have received it by. So make sure you're following those timescales. And then on our between Christmas and New Year show, the 26th of December, we're going to do the live unpackaging of our gifts and all of that. So we'll have a really nice, fun, Christmassy feel time and empty Santa sacks all over our desks.
Whoa! Something about you've been really adamant about emptying Santa's sacks today. I don't know how to feel about this.
I don't know what you mean.
Anyways,
that's what it does. Right?
We're gonna have. Hold on. Let me make sure the dates are correct here. So we are going to have a special Christmas themed episode of Top Clack on the 19th, which is the Thursday before Christmas. So that's going to be our primary Christmas episode. But like Jay mentioned, we will have some kind of unboxing / kind of like a Secret Santa gift opening party, kind of, if you will, on stream. It'll be kind of a casual thing, and maybe we can get some people on that receive their gifts and do something like that. We can make something fun about it. We'll figure it out. It'll be cool though.
Absolutely, yeah.
Pilot XJ asking one of our last questions here. Our thoughts on GMK Yugo only selling 14 base kits so far? That makes me
People
really...
need to buy this.
I knew it wasn't going to be easy. I knew it wasn't going to sell very many. But I really, really hoped it would hit MOQ. Because I really do think it is an amazing set that a lot of people... Maybe aren't quite understanding in its entirety, and I think that's what's kind of sad about it. If it's not your colorway, then it's not your colorway for sure. Then don't get it. But I don't know. That particular set I see more than just colors about, because there's so much thought, there's so much history that goes into it, and like it really is fantastic in my opinion. But I mean, if people aren't buying it, then it's it is what it is. It's kind of a bummer. Hopefully we can make some kind of turnaround. Yeah,
hopefully that'll happen. Hopefully it'll make MOQ. I think I'm definitely going to join as soon as payday rolls around. So yeah, I'll be in on it, and hopefully that'll convince some of you guys to buy it as well.
At the end of the day, people are going to vote they're going to vote with their wallets, rather. So either it's going to sell or it's not. Not really a whole lot we can do about it, but we'd like to see it work out because we both want it.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to have. I can't wait to the day when I do a build stream and I have GMK Yugo there and I put it on a board, and yeah, it'd be really nice to do. Yeah, I'd absolutely love that. So I hope it makes it. And guys, if you are on the fence about it, just grab it, just do it, just get it. Do the thing, click the button, send the money, do it. Just get it done.
Yeah, like that shirt design. You should get that done too.
Oh man, don't talk about it. I've got the new content thing. I've got the shirt design. I've got group buys to package. I've got IDB 60s coming out of my ears.
If everything goes as planned, I'll have more time to do a lot of things here. So in the near future, so I can help out with some of that stuff. All right, the Sweaty Yeti subs with Twitch Prime for 11 months. Thank you so much. And that's probably a good time to wrap up here. I don't see any more questions. So, guys, below the stream, you can find links to all sorts of different outlets for things relating to Top Clack, whether you want to check out our YouTube channel, where you can catch all the VODs as well as other content. You can also join our official Discord linked below, and you can come hang out with us and talk about, I don't know, keyboards or cheese or whatever you like. There's something for everyone there. I like cheese, so, you can talk about cheese.
Cheese is cool.
Cheese is great, so... Yeah, make sure you come check out the Discord and have a good time. And make sure you tune in tomorrow at somewhere around 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific time. I'll make an announcement in the Discord channel, so you can catch me on the build stream where I build up the Perry 60, which is a very interesting, fun, value-centric keyboard. So
yeah, cool. And I'll be back on Sunday with the Doppelganger Special Edition prototype kind of keyboard that I'm really excited to build as well. So yeah, I can't wait to show you guys that too. Yeah, cool. That's it.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for watching today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day or night. We love you guys.
Yeah, see you guys. Mwah. Thanks, guys. See ya.